Hello guys, this is me Aisha dan kita akan continue play Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. But before that, aku nak cakap something. Ada beberapa orang cakap lah yang aku main game Ace Attorney yang dalam Google Play ni, dia macam tak lengkap CD. And yes, I know it. There's more Ace Attorney game on the internet, macam Trilogy, Justice for All. But yang lain-lain tu dia ada dekat Steam dan aku kena bayar. So, tu je aku nak bebel. Okay, let's just go into it and don't talk too much. Mr Gavin is not by my side today. April 20 to 45 p.m. District Court, Courtroom number 2. Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Hello, dude. Now then, if you will, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. Will the witness state his name and occupation? Is this first necessary, Your Honor? Believe me, far stranger things have gone on this courtroom. Fine, I will play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's head? By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it. What? I will call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright! What do you think you are doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo. Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit. Oh! When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to be at the scene of the crime, at the time of the crime. In other words, you would have to be the real killer. What you are trying to say? Not bad, Apollo. Mr. Gavin? I'm afraid that I have not been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intention. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell the truth of what happened that night. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night? That fateful night. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubles me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald-headed and unconscious girl, and Wright, holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright. So, you witnessed the murder? For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team? Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. Aku tak tahu je sebab perkataan tu. What else I could say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are Mr. Gavin? And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that because that was the only probable window of the opportunity, right, Apollo? Oh, Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not defendant, not the defendant. I was just, ooh, I get roasted. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Cross-examination. That fateful night. The rage I sense in that man that night troubles me, so I return to the club. That man, you mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I know he was a serious poker player, but he was more than that. So then you knew the true nature of your client's job? Of course. But I also know he was not engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it made sense that he didn't know. They were friends, after all. Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I fear this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle on an old score. I see! What happened next? I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. The little window? You mean the one used to keep watch up the stair? Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The black marketeers use it, I believe. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easy to just open the door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fear had been unfounded? I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least. So far everything is... Oh shit! Oh. So far everything he's saying makes sense. It must have been right after the murder took place. How do you know it was right after the murder? Really? No need to shout, Miss Justice. I was just getting into that part in my testimony. Oh, there he is, the coolest defense in the West we know and love. Even when you are standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. With friends like this, who needs enemy? The victim was dead as he appeared in the photo. By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely. You see, he was not wearing his hat then. I saw his hat when he was dead. And then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat. Can you describe the scene of the crime for us? A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. Whew. Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I know, at least. Then we are back where we started. The killer was the defendant. Fearless, right? Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police? Two reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, My office was asked to defend right. Even after seeing what I had done sin, I could not abandon my friend. There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice, I just said I saw no one. Not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah yes, this mysterious fourth person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap card in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would not be necessary? How can I show something I can't find myself? Remember, Apollo, the card that was swept out was the fifth ace. The fifth ace, right? Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason? Alamak. Aku tak tahu I think I have no evidence. I'm afraid I say not yet. No, not yet, Your Honor. Not yet? Huh, pathetic. Not yet, try to not ever. Well, Mr. Gavin? Oh, I'm willing to wait for as long as it takes. Great, I don't even know what the heck I'm looking for. Apollo. Yes, sir. Don't forget, you already know the answer. You just don't realize it yet. Yes, I know. I didn't realize it yet. I know I need to present something, but I don't know which one. I already know the answer. Take a moment to think it over again, okay? I sense that was not the best place for me to be at, so I left. Okay, so I know apa dia punya evidence. Baru aku teringat. Aku ada dapat yang fifth ace tu, and then ada blood dekat situ. The defense would like to present some evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out. Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the fifth ace? Because there's a blood. My reason is this. Is that an ace? Why? It's got blood on it. Right next to the spade. What? This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why? Could this be? Could this be the Mr. Fifth Ace? Aku tak tahu macam sebut nama tu. How could you? What are you doing with that card? Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from the fish girl. Oh, that card is mine. That is, I pick up at the bowl club that night after the murder had occurred. I give it to my daughter. Cards are her stock and trade after all. No, impossible, unacceptable. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud will be one who took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Take another look at the photo and at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his head fell off to the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down the back of his head. Could not a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose the killer then took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh, right. Regardless on how you waste the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your questions. Look, what are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer will have taken a card from the crime scene. And now I have told you that one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see? This this is baseless conjecture. Baseless. Subject. Oh, I assure you it's quite based. What? It's amazing, really. How a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime in your head. Okay? Okay. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And before the killer swapped a card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it on the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene. Well, what is it? Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses, whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card? Oh, aku ada satu je. Siapa lagi? Tu dia lah. The second witness's position in the problem. The second witness, that will be Mr. Gavin, yes? The second witness position is far less problematic than yours right now, Justice. Or perhaps perilous is a better word. I cannot see what the blood-stained cards has to do with the second witness location. I'm afraid you are more than... Oh... No. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. The victim itself? Please speed. Oh. Jap. Oh, is it true? Aku tak baca sebab aku rasa macam macam salah je. Take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood will fall on the floor, not the card. Why, that's right. So what does this mean? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. Huh? Sini. The chair was facing the other way. It would have to be. Oh, tu leh. So we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. Where Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take a next step. Look at the diagram once more. We know now the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Let's Let's test your reasoning skill again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Whose location creates a contradiction in the victim was facing away? So, part aku rasa yang ni lah kot, yang K. K ni aku tak tahu siapa. Sebab aku dah try ni, sekarang ni pula. Of course. The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is? I would think it would be quite hard, yes? Yes, but what you are saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn the face on the wall in the middle of the game? I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light. What? There is something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try making it on the diagram. What? But there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry, let's think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime, okay? That's true. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim in front? Aku tak tahu. Kat mana aku nak tekan. Sini je. Tak tahu cringe.
A few moments later.
It must be somewhere here. Aku tak tahu I will try my best. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salah. Wait, betul ke? You get points software, but that's about all you get. I thought I was on something there too. I hardly need to point out that standing there will be impossible. The victim is facing solid cupboard. Or are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above? It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know. At the moment of the crime, the cupboard was not there. What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately. Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Your Honor? What? There's one more thing your man should look for. Please give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard was not there, which means... Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Macam tu lah. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to have been as shown here. Okay. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my! What's this? What is it now? Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we have found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction in the fact. Oh dang. Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? Which indicator in this diagram contradicts what we know about the crime? Huh? Apa soalan ni tadi? What is soalan? Ni lah kan? About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard will completely cover up the window to the stair. Ah! That's right. Samtang. Aku tak tahu ya. Aku sebenarnya tengah penat. Aku don't know. I don't know. Okay. Someone standing outside will not be able to see it. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What do you say? Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing his cool? Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court exactly where did you witness the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor. Order. This This is a court of law and I will have order. Okay, ini bailiff. We just now received word from our investigate team at the ball club. They have examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh, and what did they find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage. Ya Allah! Aku asyik trembling, aku tahu dah. Secret passage, okay. What? Ah, yes. I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. I do remember him saying something about that. Now that he mentioned it, a secret passage is a handy thing to have when you are engaged in illegal going on. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret passage. Where did it go? Wow! The other sides connect to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops and enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. Apa ni? Awkward silence. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl was not kidding when she said I need this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's head was only off his head for the few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Rice's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin, come on, say something. There, I asked what really happened that night. Actually, I think we can probably figure out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith, a date with destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment that the chance came. And he took it. What do you do that? Wait here, I will get help. Miss Olga only was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops. leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. When our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout, the victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look and... Frown. After the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized he needed to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor, and the fact that they were all red. Ugh. Flip hair. Wow. Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne! Yeah! Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Phoenix Wright, the defendant here, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion. Believe me when I say I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances called for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately. Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get a witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactic firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of our caliber will be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick. Excuse me? The defendant is clear from all suspicion? This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright has not proved anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. And not just anyone else, me, his own defense attorney. Illegal evidence? Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin, is there still any reason at present to suspect me for wrongdoing? Of course, this bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne? Actually, yes. The fingerprint on the bottle were, upside down. I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. The court and this case demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold a bottle upside down, and that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor? See how the codfish squirmed to the last. Well, Apollo? Yes? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. But I'm sure you can come with a suitable explanation. Just like that. Yeah. Just like what? Why would anyone grab the bottle upside down? Other than to... Oh. Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you will find a simple answer there, in a plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words? It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unaware questions, indeed. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Gavin said that the court and this case demand an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. Perhaps the defense will care to enlighten the court. What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down? Cara nak ambil botol tu lah. Ni, cara nak ambil botol kat sini. Sebab dia pegang kat ujung ni. Aku tak tahu lah. Aku rasa yang ni. Please be it. Please be it. It's actually easy to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor, next to your chair. Excuse me? On the floor? Yes. Now, reach down and pick it up, without getting out of your chair. Yes. See? You naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Wow, I can't believe it was that simple. Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual drink then too. Basically, you just use the bottle on the table to do the deed. But then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano. And you switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon. Wow. Cannot brain. Order! 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 Fascinating. Aku tak ada macam nak sebut nama ni, perkataan ni. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle? Where is your proof? Proof? Well, that's as I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation? Ah, yes. I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the ball club. And here's one of the bottles in question. What? Are you going to dust that for fingerprints too? I would be surprised if any were on that but his. Mr. Gavin probably would not make such a novel mistake, true. That bottle will not bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes. Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? But why? Just humor me, Mr. Wright. That bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle. Okay. Oh, I saw it. There's something inside the bottle. Oh. Whoa. What's this? That card. It can't be. Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Mr. Orgauli? Yes, our little swindling with Devoshka. Tak tahu macam mana sebut. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And rifles the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Mrs. Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. But wait, this is not. You are telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in these pieces of testimony? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Dispose? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. Oh, okay. Okay, aku ingatkan dia suruh aku terbalikkan. The 5 of hearts. This is the card. The bottle was swapped. And the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Say something, dude. Whoa. Earthquake. Earthquake. Gempa bumi. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the heck is that? Tiba-tiba no gravity. Semua orang. Semua orang speechless. Dah. That is all. Whew. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix, right? Revenge? Revenge for the event that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Whoa, 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 whoa! What? What happened? I want to know the gossip too. My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Okay, hi. You're welcome back. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little... Macam nak sebut ni? Whatever lah. This is insane. What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone? He's just a third wheel. Nah. I believe this time we have finally come to the end of the trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin? He's admitted everything. We are processing his arrest now. I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he? None of that we know of. Mr. Right, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler, an odd profession to be sure, and that's all we know about him. I will arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor. Good. Mr. Wright? Yes. 7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch. Mr Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed two things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated in courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me? A dark time is coming for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought by our very own court system. We have to set it right. Mr. Wright, our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce a verdict. Does court find the defendant, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? Not guilty. Oh yeah. Aku tak kenapa aku cakap macam tu. Oh yes. Oh yes. Court is adjourned. April 20, 4:38 p.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby number 3. Hi. Thanks, Apollo. You came through just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything in there. It was you who cornered Mr. Gift, the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too, today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You have come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment of the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course, it is true. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? What was that, Mr. Wright? You will have to find the answer to the question yourself. The answer, right. Today was full of questions without answer. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have done to commit murder? Perhaps you will learn that in the day to come. Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you? Know what? This locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met a girl whose picture is in your locket. Yeah, zoom in again. Oh, so cute. She's so cute. Your daughter, right? That's right. She's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Right about what? Huh? Yeah. I took this off his neck the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified! You said that locket was yours! I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. The truth. Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth is not the best one. Give it time. You are still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Mr. Gavin law offices after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo. Yes? How about coming to work for me? Eh? You mean at the right and call law offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can imagine that to be true, but wait, but didn't you... You're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge. Yes, I'm not an attorney anymore. So apa kerja aku? What's my job? That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was one man. Phoenix Wright. The case reaches its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about the evidence that should not have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd. It's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I would bet this was the forged evidence. I know it. This one. Sebab dia tiba-tiba datang. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes, that card cannot have been found. Cannot be found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took. Oh, okay. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left, leaving the wrong card in its place. Luckily for us. Huh? The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then you really? Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it was not real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney? Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? Mm. Why? Aku pening. Phoenix, why? I punched him. Oh, Phoenix. Phoenix, my boy. Phoenix, why? Why? Oh my god!
Many months later.
It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Right. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling, "Take that!" next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. Bye. Bye, Legendary. Bye. And with that, Mr. Right walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread or logic. I did find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law. And this is how my story begins. What? Tadi semua tu hanyalah prolog semata-mata. The end. Wow. Wow. This is so good. So good. So good to be truth. No, okay. So episod kedua kita ialah Turnabout Corner. Nanti ada lagi satu episod kita tak tengok. Kalau korang nak episod ni keluar serta-merta. Not serta-merta lah. Maksud aku macam keluar setiap hari. Please. Please guys. Support me. Give me some like and share my video to others people. And yeah. That's all from me. This is me Aisha and I'm out. Aku serius penat.